Originally recorded live, Faith Speaks is now a podcast. Watch the stories at incmedia.org or press play and listen here.
I have a question for you. What would you choose? Would you choose the surgery, knowing there was no guarantee of the outcome? Or would you choose to ride it out and live life the best that you can? Well, for me, I chose life. I decided not to do the surgery.
Hi, everyone. I'm Macy Padilla, and you're listening to the Faith Speaks podcast. When you're faced with a life or death decision, how do you know which choice is right? That's what Ria Mae Cabardo had to wrestle with when she learned she had a brain aneurysm. It's a condition that had already taken the lives of several members of her family. Doctors could not agree on what she should do next.
Worries and anxieties, well, they come in.
But in the middle of that fear and uncertainty, she leaned on faith. So today, as you listen to her story, ask yourself this. When you lose control of everything, your health, your plans, your future, do you panic or do you pray? Here's Ria Mae's story.
Every day, we make choices. And the choices that we make today shape us into the people who we become tomorrow. But the question is, what if the choice that you have to make guarantees to shape you into someone you won't know? Even worse, not give you a tomorrow. You see, more than a year ago, I found out that I have a brain aneurysm. Most people aren't fortunate to find out until it's too late. And while ruptured brain aneurysms are fatal in 50% of the cases. And the thing is, of the 50% who survive, 66% of them suffer permanent neurological deficits. You see, ruptured aneurysms took the life of my grandfather, my grandma, and my auntie, all on my mom's side of the family. For a whole year, I experienced constant panic attacks and debilitating headaches. Even when the doctors were able to give me medication that would properly take care of my blood pressure, I was still living in the state of complete anxiety. I had no control over my mind, my body, or my emotions at that point. And then to top it all off, February of this year, I found out news that would completely rattle my brain. After seeking perspective and opinions from 3 different neurosurgeons, the last doctor sent my case to a panel of 11 neurosurgeons. After they evaluated it, 6 of them recommended that I get the surgery. 5 of them recommended that I don't. So my doctor said to me, you choose if you want the surgery or not. The thing is, he didn't sugarcoat anything for me. He told me that the procedure would be a craniotomy and that the aneurysm was in a complicated area. There were only 2 outcomes of this surgery. It would be death, or I wouldn't be the same person after the surgery. I have a question for you. What would you choose? Would you choose the surgery, knowing there was no guarantee of the outcome? Or would you choose to ride it out and live life the best that you can? Well, for me, I chose life. I decided not to do the surgery. And don't get me wrong, and I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't scared or that I'm not scared right now. I'm human, and worries and anxieties, well, they come and play with my heart and my mind from time to time. I mean, for a whole year, before the panel of doctors, my anxiety was through the roof. My medical bills can attest to it. I was in and out of the hospital. My sister can attest to it. Monthly ER visits. And it was the constant, is this it? I'm sure it wasn't slowing the process down, especially with my blood pressure. But something changed. I remember that week. I couldn't take it anymore. I felt like I was losing control of everything. You know that saying, control what you can control, and the rest you give to God. But I didn't have any control anymore, not even of my own body. So I gave up. I didn't give up. I didn't give up and lose hope. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, there were moments where I couldn't see clearly. I couldn't think or make decisions. So I gave it up to God. I remember falling to my knees and telling him, I give up. I give everything to you. And at the end, I just asked him if he allowed me to live, that I would give myself to him in service. And I asked him if I could be used as his instrument. I called that moment my King Hezekiah moment. I asked God to take care of my heart and my mind and to lead me in all of the decisions that I was going to make. And most especially, I asked him that the Holy Spirit never leave me. Sister, do you believe in God's timing? I do. Sometimes, you're sitting in a worship service and the minister says something that speaks to exactly what you're going through at that very moment. I sit there and I always smile and I think, okay, God, that was on point. I had that instance right before my King Hezekiah moment. I was sitting in a worship service and the executive minister revealed this year's theme. Believe in, trust in, and rely on what God can do for us. Hearing that, I knew that I made the right decision. The thing is, people can live a long time with a brain aneurysm. But the aneurysm can rupture at any time. But the reality is, nothing's ever really guaranteed, is it? So it all came down to me learning how to believe in, trust in, and rely on what God can do for me. I know now that what I'm going through and what I've experienced is one of the greatest blessings in my life. Because it forced me to think, if God was to give me 10 days to live or 10 years to live, how would I live my life? That's when it all changed. My mind shifted. My perspective and my thought life changed. I could no longer sweat the small stuff. If I really wanted to live, I had to make sure my mindset was on point. That I had to be positive and set my eyes to God. The thing is, positivity, everybody hears that, right? Think positive, be positive. But positivity doesn't mean that you're happy all the time. Positivity and being positive means you have hope against all hope. You have faith. And of all the people in this world, wouldn't it be God's children who would have the most positivity? Because no matter what happens in this life, God will always be there to help us. Because it's inevitable. We're all going to go through something. We hear it in the lessons every time, right? Especially during our time, we're going to experience intense trials. But if I focus on the negative, and that's all that I thought about, I'd lose myself. And my blood pressure would go high, and physiologically, we wouldn't want that to happen. I realized that nothing was truly in my control. I had to let go and leave it to God. That doesn't mean be lazy and do nothing. I make the intentional daily choice to choose life. What does that mean? I do my best to follow what I'm supposed to do. Whether it's instructions from my doctor, perspective from my mentors, most especially God's words. Don't get me wrong. I'll be honest, I don't always follow doctor's orders, but there are consequences, much like anything else in this life. So the choices that I have to make are developing good habits. I have to think positive through the negative things that happen. I also read. I read a lot. I listen to podcasts and audiobooks that help with my mindset. So if you're going to ask me, the thing is, I had to let go of trying to control everything, but more or less, and instead, I had to listen intentionally to what God wants, especially what he was saying to us during our worship service. So now, if you're going to ask me what are the mind shifts, mental things that get me through life now, I'd break it down into 5 things. Number 1, nothing is ever really that bad. Everyone's going through something. And I remind myself that my situation isn't unique. I actively put myself in other people's shoes. And I think we're all going through something. We all have our own challenges. And when strife, accident, and unforeseen disasters come, I remind myself, it could have been worse. I'm alive, and my family's okay. It's easy to make a mountain out of a molehill, but is it worth it? Especially when you know life isn't guaranteed. It's funny because one of my friends that I told about my situation was like, dude, YOLO, do you and have fun. And I said, I do. But you know that acronym YOLO, you only live once? The thing is to one person may not mean the same to another. Because for me, living my best life is making sure that my friends, my family, and my loved ones know without a shadow of a doubt that I love them. And so if I get the chance to spend time with you or have dinner, I'm there. I show up. And when someone pops up into my mind, I call them right away. And I say, I love you. So if I called you, it's because you popped into my mind and I love you. Number 2, no one is guaranteed tomorrow. So I do my best to fill my days with genuine love, and I give love. I like to share the blessings that God gives to me every day, and I make the time to show up. I don't take time and people for granted. You just never know. Number 3, gratitude. I thank God every day for my borrowed life and strength. How many of you have heard that in every prayer? Thank you for my borrowed life and strength. It means different now to me because all of this is borrowed. It's not owed to us. And living in constant gratitude, it keeps you grounded. And it's a reminder that all of this is a gift and that the present is truly a present. And every morning I get to open my eyes. It's like unwrapping a gift that I savor and embrace because I know that God gave it to me. Number 4, take time to live in the moment. Don't dwell on the regrets of yesterday. Because you know what? You can't change it. And also, stop worrying about what's gonna happen tomorrow. Because at this very moment and at this point, it's all imaginary. And the last thing, 5, it's finally deciding to no longer live comfortably in anxiety or allow the negative circumstances of my life to define me. So guess what? I flipped the script. I stopped telling myself, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick. I'm not sick. I stopped speaking negative things about myself. The thing is that doesn't mean that I'm in denial of my situation. It means I had to look at everything in a different way. I had to see the blessing in every single situation of my life and trust him. So although in this world there are no guarantees, we, members of the Church of Christ, we do have a guarantee from God that he'll always listen to our prayers and he will never give us more than we can handle. So every day, I choose life. What do you choose? Thank you.
When Ria Mae chose life, she didn't just choose to survive. She chose to surrender. And sometimes surrender is the greatest act of faith, because when you stop fighting for control, you finally make room for peace. No matter what tomorrow holds, may we all find the courage to say, God, I trust you. Whatever happens, I choose life. Thank you for listening to the Faith Speaks podcast. If this episode gave you even a little more hope today, share it with someone who needs it too. Catch Faith Speaks now streaming on the podcast. You can also watch it on incmedia.org. Real stories, real faith, right when you need it.